Hello, and welcome to Enlightened Empaths, your community for the spiritually awakened, where we discuss, explore, and connect with fellow empaths, healers, intuitives, and seekers. Hello, empaths. Thank you for joining us this week. We're going to share about some of the numerological significance of 2025. And as we start to celebrate the Chinese New Year, we're going to talk about the year of the snake and what that means for all of us. I think it's really interesting that the Chinese zodiac is this amazing system that pairs each year with one of 12 animals, which is just steeped in symbolism and tradition. And one of the most intriguing creatures in this celestial grouping is the snake. Whether you're born under this sign or just curious about its significance for you and your 2025 year, we thought we could take a deeper look at what the year of the snake means and what it has to offer all of us.
Right. And it's often seen that a snake year rewards those who think ahead, who stay calm under pressure, strike only when the timing is perfect, if we're going to make a snake, comparison. But it's about summoning your inner strategist. It's time to play the long game and build something solid from the ground up. So a lot of times the year of the snake themes, and especially for 2025, this is the year of the wood snake. Each of the animals has a year based on one of the 5 elements. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But this year is a wood snake. And the themes go along strategy and tactics, intrigue and mystery, elevated taste, wisdom, reflection, self-care and comfort, and subtle movements that can bring big results. And when I was reading about this, I thought when we had talked about it being a 9 year and it's about completion, it's about finishing up, it's about endings. And isn't that perfect to have this year of the snake with transformation and these subtle movements that are going to move towards bigger results?
And shedding the old, because what does a snake do? It sheds its skin.
Right.
Make way for the new, and that's what the 9 year is all about. So you might be a snake if you were born in 1941, 53, 65, 77, 89, 2001, or 2013. And if you were born in one of those years, then it's said that you are wise, natural philosopher, enjoy seeking deeper truths, very intuitive. You have sharp instincts that guide you through complex situations. You're also seen as charming with a magnetic personality and can easily draw people to you. They're also very private people. They value their alone time and prefer a measured approach to social interactions. On the negative side, they can be overly suspicious, a tad secretive, and occasionally resistant to change. So as we move into this energy of the snake in 2025, it's said to promise a year of wisdom, creativity, and self-reflection, meaning this is a great year to embrace your inner philosopher and navigate life's twists and turns with grace.
So what's interesting is the last time we had a wood snake year was 1965. And when you think about the cultural shifts that were happening in 1965, the world saw the rise of counterculture, birth of iconic fashion trends like the mini skirt, push for civil rights and equality. And then 60 years later, we're kind of seeing similar themes echoing back to us with this wood snake year. So there's some opportunities, as you said, for transformation and renewal on a global scale.
Yeah, exactly, which could be really fun and challenging all at the same time. Doesn't it sound like that?
It does. And I think a really important part is to remember to have patience and to, the proverbial slow and steady wins the race, is just trust in that slow, steady growth that this year could bring in rather than trying to push it or rush the process. Or sometimes the best moves are the ones that you make quietly and give it time to gestate, give it time to come into play.
Yeah.
Because snakes are, and I've shared this before, that, many years ago, I have had a lot of snakes in my life, literally and figuratively. Sorry. But they're very intelligent. And this symbol, snake as a symbol, yes, it's about rebirth and shedding the old skin, but it's also about intelligence and wisdom and charm. So if you are a snake year person, those are attributes that you'll often possess.
Well, didn't you work with reptiles?
I was thinking about that this morning because it's Year of the Snake. We had my ex-husband and I, we had a 17-foot, excuse me, I'm wrong on that, a 14-foot, I'm very conscious of that, 14-foot albino Burmese python pair. We had reticulated pythons, we had Bahama boas, we had um, uh, red-tailed Colombian boas, we had iguanas and monitor lizards, and yeah, I know my reptiles.
Wow. And were you ever afraid of them?
No.
Do they bond with you?
Well, they're not like a puppy.
Well,
And you
yeah.
don't want to let the puppy get next to him either.
But would they like wrap around your arm while you're reading, or no?
Not me, no. And I've shared this before as well, is that my mother was so phobic of snakes. What are the chances I'd end up with someone that was really into herpetology?
Yeah, that is interesting.
No, but there's a beauty in them that very efficient, the patterns and they're an amazing creatures.
Yeah, they really are. So if you were born in a year of the snake, it's said that whenever you have that as your zodiac animal and then the whole universe is in that year of that animal, you're supposed to have more luck and opportunities and good fortune. But something fun you guys can do while you're listening is just figure out what your zodiac animal is according to the Chinese New Year. And then you can Google, what does it mean for a rooster in a snake year? What does it mean for a rat in a snake year? A dog in a snake year? And it'll give you some further insights.
Yes. And, this is traits for guiding wisdom and grace, and those born in a snake year are generally naturally strategic. They're excellent problem solvers. They're skilled communicators. And some famous people, Pablo Picasso was born in the year of the snake, John F. Kennedy, Stephen Hawking, J.K. Rowling. And we could go into whether it's, were they in the element of the wood snake, the fire snake, the earth snake, and each of those different elements combined with the animal adds a variance to it. So people born in 1905 or 1965 would have been in a wood snake year, very intelligent with refined taste. That fire snake years would be 1917 and 1977, very smart, insightful, active. And think about the element of fire, it is more active. It is more, it's a powerful energy. Earth snake, more grounded, 1929, 1989, self-control. It can be issues around diligence. The gold snake are a born leader. And when we just said that Stephen Hawking was a leader, Pablo Picasso was a leader, they were both gold year people, snake years, in their own element, they were very much, no pun intended about element. And the water snake, 53 in 2013, are very clever, creative, sentimental. So they're all bringing in these aspects of snake energy and the snake archetype that goes with the year, but with that variance of the different elements. I think that's very interesting.
I do too. It adds a deeper meaning to what the animal symbolizes.
Yes. Yes. And I think for all of us, though, it can be a year of, we've been hoping for some transformation to come because it's been a little bit stagnant for some folks. So hopefully this will really come to pass.
Yeah, I hope so too. Do you want to talk about the number 9, or do you have more to add about the snake?
Well, I do think it is important that maybe just a quick thing about how each of like if you're a rat person, I'm a rat. That's my year.
I am too.
Are you a rat? Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. So for us, all us rats, the rat pack, this is said, 2025 is said to be blessed by a favorable presence of the number 9 future prosperity star. So this is going to bring in a time of growth, success, and abundance, opportunities for advancement in both personal and professional arenas. And it's be ready to act. It's a great time financially. And, maybe some challenges would be, but it goes on and on. But I think that this is keep your head down, stay active, stay focused. And this isn't so much on, oh, I'm going to scratch the lucky ticket. It's a payoff for what you've put in, all the hard work you've put in.
That's what a rat is known for.
Right. And this is going to be a good year for us the
Good.
rat people. If you're in the year of the ox, this could be possibly some challenges that will push your perseverance. But what's really important is there's a huge potential for opportunity that can bring some unanticipated setbacks. But sometimes you have to step back to step forward. So it's not that it's going to be a misfortunate year. It's just going to be one to keep your awareness around your surroundings and what choices you're making.
That sounds hopeful.
It does. And to be aware of your relationships and aware of how you're handling conflict or misunderstandings. So I think that applies to all of us, don't you think?
I do.
Let's see. Tiger, if you're a year of the tiger, born in that year, again, some challenges, but it's important to stay persistent and keep your eye on the prize. So face the challenges head on and power through, which is tiger energy.
Yeah, that's true.
Rabbit, this is a great year for growth and abundance, opening doors to new opportunities and fruitful endeavors. Sounds good.
Makes sense. Rabbits are very fruitful when they multiply.
And we just came out of the year of the wood dragon. And what I love with what I was reading about this, it says, say goodbye to last year's misfortune. There's new opportunity coming in for dragon folks in this year. A lot of victory, well on your way to victory, elation, prosperity, financial growth. Good year for the dragons.
Nice.
Yes, and we went over the snake folks. They're going to have a great year.
I'd rather be a dragon than a rat. Can I just say that?
Actually, going back to those colorful years again, my son won Best in Show for having a pet rat. Rats are hugely intelligent.
That's true.
I'm not a big fan of them, and there's a difference between pet rats and well, we don't need to get into that, but if you're a horse year person, this is high potential for success this year. I like that.
I do too. One of my daughters is a horse.
Okay, and it said I hope this is the daughter we were mentioning earlier. It said there's an academic romance star which increases your luck in both the academic arena and romance. This influence opens doors to new connections in these areas as well as personal growth.
Wow. I'm going to tell her that right away.
And you goat people, fortune shines brightly on the goat this year. Goat's kind of I'm the goat. That's a new expression, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
This is a time for confidence. Don't let other people stop your resolve to achieve success. There's a significant boost in prospects for prosperity and general achievement. It's a good time to tip the scales in the direction of believing in yourself and going after what you want.
Nice.
The monkeys are so fun, except when they throw poop, but that's okay. They're still fun. Not saying monkey people throw poop, by the way. This is, monkey people, hang on. Remarkable wealth luck this year coming in. So lots of wealth and potential. With the right approach, it's a good time to take on new challenges and go after crazy big goals with uncompromising intent. So it sounds like the monkeys are going to be focused this year. If you're a rooster folk, then expect thrilling opportunities for growth in your studies and your love life. I don't know if I know any rooster people. I'm looking at do you?
Yeah.
45, 33, 57, 69, 81, 93, 2005, and 2017 are rooster people. What else did it say about the rooster people? Oh, to use feng shui to help you feel good and vital. Okay. Deeper relationships. Stars are aligning beautifully for connection and learning. I think we're almost done, but we wouldn't want to leave out the rest of the folk. Dog folks, dog year people, take care and use diplomacy to maintain peace in your environment, which dogs are really good at. It's showing great potential for the win. And it says, see what making it happen with your own effort. So it feels like there's going to be overcoming some obstacles and emerging victorious in personal and professional pursuits.
Sweet.
Yeah, this is some good stuff. And I know there's always challenges and
No,
depends on what you read and what you look at, but
no, but I remember last year reading about this with the dragon, and it was all kind of challenging stuff for everyone.
yeah,
So this is very positive. All right,
yeah.
tell us about the pig.
Okay, the pig, and there's a lot more information. We're giving you a very, very, so it says the pig has mixed astrological influences, and it stirs the pot this year. Oh, pigs, be careful! And it goes into some astrological stuff, but unexpected obstacles and disrupting different areas of your life could affect your career and your relationships and your well-being. But the silver lining is there might be challenges, but it comes with considerable opportunities for success. So I think that there's a deflection of the negativity and really stepping into your own for the pig folks. So that's it.
That's exciting. I like it.
I do too. But coupled with that 9-year and the numerology of a 9-year, it feels powerful to me.
Yeah, it really does too. And have you been seeing, or do you already know about some of the magical mathematical stuff connected to the number 9?
No.
It's pretty cool to look at and just to think about. Its behavior around multiplication is fascinating. You can multiply any number by 9, and the sum of the digits results in the original number. So, for example, like 9 times 3 is 27, and 2 plus 7 is 9.
Mm-hmm.
Or 9 times 12 is 108, and 1 plus 0 plus 8 reduces to 9.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that kind of stuff.
And the same thing if you divide it. A number is divisible by 9 if the sum of its digits is divisible by 9. When even with exponents, if you raise it to any power, 9 will demonstrate a cyclical pattern in its last digits.
Which is very fun.
I know. In geometry, the 9 appears in some really cool ways. For example, a 9-sided polygon or nonagon is a shape of elegance and symmetry. The internal angles always sum up to 1260, which is a number divisible by 9, a fitting coincidence. And it just goes on and on and on. The digital root of a number is obtained by repeatedly summing its digits until a single digit remains. Because of 9's additive persistence, it often acts as a benchmark in these calculations. But it's also a number we encounter all the time. Like, for example, there are 9 months in human gestation, so it symbolizes creation and life. In sports, you have baseball has 9 innings, or the 9-player lineup in softball. In Chinese culture, 9 is associated with the dragon, a symbol of power and longevity. But going back to math, like if you just look at 9s on a multiplication table, if you list the products of 9, you can see how the 10 digits ascend while the 1 digits descend. So the symmetry around this number in math and geometry is just really interesting about its just beauty. And so it just makes me feel like maybe we are going into a beautiful year of balance and symmetry.
And people need hope. People
Yeah.
really need hope in a positive way. That's not, we were chatting earlier about some things that have been coming through for each of us in meditation and in reflection. And I do have hope that this is going to be a successful year for a lot of people.
Yeah, I do too. So universally, as we said, we are going into a 9-year, which is said to mean that this is going to be a year where we're allowed and invited to let go of anything that no longer serves us. Just like we were saying, how a snake sheds its skin. We're going to be shedding stuff this year that we do not need anymore. It could be outdated beliefs or toxic relationships or stagnant habits. So this release will clear the way for new beginnings in 2026, when we'll be going into a universal year of one, which marks a clean slate, a new chapter, a new beginning. But for now, 2025 is going to be a year of reflection and wisdom. So the 9 year is a time to look back at the lessons you've learned over the past cycle. And it's about extracting wisdom from these experiences and carrying forward only what aligns with your highest self. So it's the number of universal love and compassion, which means this year is going to urge us to think beyond ourselves. So this is going to be a great year to think about volunteer opportunities or ways you can contribute to the collective good. It's a wonderful year for empaths. It's also often associated with the phoenix and transformation. So the 9 year is about really spiritually and emotionally transforming yourself and shedding those labels and those shoulds and those false expectations so that the authentic you can really and truly emerge.
It's very interesting because many conversations I've had in the last few weeks have revolved around that in different, in varying ways, of people being done with a persona that doesn't align with who they really are, of stepping away from worrying about. I spoke with a woman recently who was very creative, and she said, I just want to do it for me. I don't care where it lands. I don't care where it goes. I just need to do this for me. And we had a in-depth conversation about it because she's been limited in so many times in the past by where it was leading, not the experience of it actually happening. And what you're saying, it feels like this is going to be a year to really reconnect with what we want our lives to look like.
Exactly. Now, in Tarot, I always like to associate the universal year and our personal year with the Tarot card because I think it gives us some deeper meaning. And in Tarot, the ninth key card is the Hermit. How do you think that connects with this year?
I think we brought that up a couple weeks ago in an episode, and I do think it is about inner and reflection and seeking that inner guidance and taking the time we need for ourselves to figure out what we want our lives to look like. It comes up often in readings that I'll see someone and they'll have a foot where they've been, and they're reaching out with that other foot trying to find a foothold, and that seems to be a lot of the Hermit card right now, of I'm going within to figure out what it is that I want to do, with not in a selfish or self-centered way, but in a more focused way of living the life that people came here to live and experience what they came here to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Now, there are some challenges that can associate with a 9 year, and this can really be about that concept of letting go. So, while we are being called to let go of things and people and situations that no longer serve us, some people have a really hard time with that, especially when it involves deep attachment. So, really be gentle with yourself if you feel called to let go of a job or a relationship or a behavior that's no longer serving you. And you might have some moments of uncertainty because there are going to be some endings this year which create a temporary void, which can lead to feelings of instability. You know, we had Rick Jarrow on the show years ago, and in his books about, I think one of his books is called How to Create the Work You Want. And he says that, you know, the old adage, when one door closes, another opens, he said that's true. But often there's a long hallway between those doors.
Mm-hmm.
And I never ever forgot that. So there might be some moments this year of uncertainty. So when one door closes, you're looking around like, okay, where's my other door? So you got to be um, definitely gentle with yourself through those. And you might feel a little overwhelmed because it is going to be a very empathic year, a lot of emotions, a lot of inner deep healing. So just acknowledge this and try to navigate them with grace and trust, not only in the universe and the process, but also in yourself.
It keeps coming up that I don't know why, and I don't know the astrology, but I'm sure many of our listeners will know the astrology of it, that this first 6 months of the year is exactly that. Go within, get settled, figure it out, do some reflection. Don't make hard and fast plans, but instead just really let things unfold. But I keep getting that the first 6 months of this year are very, very significant, and then things are going to really kick into gear after summer.
I do too. I think June is going to be like kind of the turning point,
Right.
but it feels like we've got some heavy influences in the first half of the year, doesn't it?
It does. But heavy influences that are going to be a catalyst to release, to set ourselves free from maybe old paradigms or old limitations we put on ourselves or old expectations. I'm hoping so anyway.
No, I am too. But I keep getting that same thing too. Like, mark your calendars for the summer. I feel like it's going to lighten and be easier and just a little bit more freeing.
Right. Which would go with, if you've ever watched, going back to the year of the snake, if you've ever watched a snake shed its skin, it's a long process. It's not like, whoop, I'm out. There's my snake skin. It's slow. They
I never
start.
thought about that. What does it look like?
Well, you end up with a snake shed is really actually really cool because it holds the shape of the snake, and you can see like each scale on the snake shows up in the shed, but the eye caps. So you always know a snake is getting ready to shed because the eyes cloud over, and
Hmm.
when they shed, the eye caps come off first, but it's a very slow process from their head down to their tail. And if we're going to compare that to this year coming up, it is maybe we need this first 6 months to shed, and then we'll have that new skin for the second half.
Wow. Does it hurt them?
No, they'll go up against a stick or a rock or something to help pull it off, but it comes off in one piece. Sometimes you'll find them out in nature.
Hmm.
When we used to live by the desert, we'd find them occasionally. But it's kind of a fun thing.
That's a really good thing to consider. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not a one and done. It's a process.
Hmm.
And I think we need to remind ourselves of that as we go through whatever it is that we're shedding. I can't most changes that have occurred in my life have led to really, really good things. I
Hmm.
can't think of a change that's been all bad. I'm sure there are, but it's not coming into the forefront of my head. But I think most changes, and yet it's just the unknown that we're always afraid of. At least I am. I like to know step one, step two, step three. This is what it's going to look like here, there, and everywhere. And when change just kind of comes at you, you often don't have that opportunity to know what is this going to look like on the other side of it. And I think that's where the uncertainty and the doubt come in. And so just remembering these things and remembering any tools you've already cultivated that help you get through those uncertain times is really going to be important. And what helps me or Denise or you get through an uncertain time is going to be really, really different. And it might be different for you through different stages of your life.
And there's no timeline.
No, no.
Mm. Because right now, if you're dealing with a situation that is testing every aspect of who you are and what you believe, or if you've just lost someone that's very dear to you and you're thinking, there's no way in hell I'm ever going to feel better about this, sometimes it takes a while, and that's okay.
And that's okay. Yeah. But you have to think about what will serve you during those times of transition. Like I have a friend, whenever she's stressed out, she completely shuts out the world for at least 2 days.
Hmm.
Doesn't answer the phone, doesn't text, doesn't reach out, just stays, hunkers down in her home. That would make me feel disconnected, lonely, and isolated. But it recharges and refuels her. So that's a tool that she knows she can rely on when she needs it. Whereas for me, it's more going to a yoga class or sitting in the sun and reading a book or walking on the beach or complaining to my friends. It's always a good one. But doesn't it feel like this year we're going to have a lot to let go of and a lot to celebrate?
I hope so. Yes. But it feels like it's been a long time coming too.
Well,
Like
yeah.
we've been building up to this, and it's been an interesting decade to get to here.
Yeah, I know. And that's how long it takes to get to a 9 year, which is why it's also the year where we're going to reap the rewards of our hard work. And I think it's important to really focus on metaphorically opening your arms to receiving all that good.
And what just popped in when you were saying that is this could also be about releasing yourself from things that you think you're supposed to do, or that, well, if I was fill in the blank, I would. Maybe that's part of this, is to say, I don't need to look at myself that way anymore. I don't need to look at my life path that way anymore. And there's so much pressure and influence from outside. It's a
Mm,
comparative world right now. But when you just are sitting by yourself, yeah, that's what my version of a 9 year, and what we're talking about is make peace with yourself of who you are and what you want your life to be like.
yes. Yeah. And really remind yourself that you're a powerful co-creator. I
Yeah.
always like to look back at prior 9 years. So like our last 9 year was 2016.
Hmm.
And do some time reflecting on what did that year look like for you? What did you let go of? What change did you invite into your life?
And that's interesting because that was a very significant year in accepting that I needed to make some changes in my life and getting the wheels in motion for that to happen. I wasn't able to put the changes into place immediately, but it was a start, and that the train started out of the station in 2016.
That's the year my ex-husband and I separated.
Wow.
Talk about clearing out the old.
And now completion, you're engaged and moving forward and have a new relationship, and your girls are, I mean, you've really made the most of this 9 year cycle.
I know this year I'm selling my house and buying a new house with my fiance. So yeah, that's also letting go. It's going to be I'm very very sad to leave this house, but it's time. It's time for a fresh start.
Right. So what I'm thinking too is getting this stuff out of the way, really utilizing the energy of a 9 year and this year of the wood snake transformation is the perfect precursor to stepping into the energies of a 1 year next year for new beginnings and a fresh start. But if we don't do the work this year, we'll just drag it along with us like a tail.
You know what's interesting? The last 9 year, I'm just selfishly focusing on myself again. Hold on. The last 9 year was a 2007 before the
Okay.
2016. And that's the last year I taught full time. I started doing readings full time for real on August 8th, 2008.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't even connect those dots. So yeah, it does feel like 9 years aren't necessarily the year that the big change happens, but it's the year we let go to prepare for the big change.
and and I'm finding more and more people are, myself included, so I'm not making that like I'm being a judgy pie, but they're realizing that they don't want to waste their turn. They don't want to waste the life that they've been given by trying to do it the way someone else wants them to live it.
Yeah,
And
I
I see
know.
that a lot with younger, um, you know, young adults or younger people. They're very focused on who they want to be and what they want to do.
My daughter and I just had that discussion last night. We were talking about that movie Groundhog's Day
Yeah.
and what Bill Murray learned, and she was thinking, she was like, if life is just this blip, and we get to do it again and again and again, why don't we live it to its fullest more often? She's like, why am I not getting on a plane to go tour Europe? Why am I hunkered down in a dorm studying, And we just had this really interesting talk about how we know we have this relatively short time on Earth, right? I mean, in the scheme of infinity, 80 90, 100 years, whatever we're blessed with, isn't really that long. And yet, how often do we really embrace it to its fullest? We're always planning for the future and preparing and paying insurance and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you think.
It does. It really, really does.
This is definitely a year to let go of those fears and restrictions and doubts that are holding you back so that you can embrace life by all of its many, many joys and magical qualities and really enjoy it, at least according to Denise, in the second half of 2025.
I guess we'll see what happens, but I think so many people are saying the same thing, that they're really focused on these first 6 months, and then it's a little hazy.
Well, that's because the aliens are coming.
Oh,
They're gonna take over.
okay. Good to know. Good to know. I'll have to mark that in my planner, so I'll be ready.
I'm kidding. What do you mean by hazy, though? That sounded a little ominous.
No, because when you look, I don't know, you get a new planner, you look ahead at the year and you're like, okay, and if you have a business, you might say, oh, I offer this at this time of the year, or I want to take a trip at this time of the year, or this is a significant time for my family and these months. But it just feels a little vague for me for that second half right now.
Are you seeing that in readings too when you're trying to tune
Yes.
in? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I do
That
think
makes
it's
me
a
worried, Denise, because you're
no,
always
no,
spot on. So you
no,
gotta.
no, no.
Okay.
I think it's a positive, because I think it is. I really do believe that we're in a time of deep transformation, but I really, really, in my soul, believe part of it is that many, many people are starting to focus more on their own little world, their own little circle. And the more we can do that, the more we can look at our own little, not to discount what's going on or be oblivious, but focus on your life and what you want it to look like, on the people that you care about, on whether or not you need to go on that trip to Europe. Because once you start focusing on that, it makes it really hard for anyone to control your world.
That's a good point. I like that. I have to share a really funny story before we wrap up. So I consider myself a pretty good psychic, and I think I've proven that many times to my children.
Mm-hmm.
But Denise is amazing at what she does. So if you have been waiting to get a reading with her, don't. And sometimes we'll finish recording and she'll go, I'm not trying to like peek into your psychic window, but I have this feeling for one of your kids, and I'll share it with my kids. And they're like, oh my gosh, Denise is so amazing. So I got a little nudge, an intuitive nudge for one of my children. And before she went back to school, I told her, I was like, oh, I feel like this really good thing is going to come up soon, like in end of January, February. And she nods and she goes, all right, Mom, can you check that with Denise? I was like, thank you very much.
Well, I would love to take credit for that, but it's not me. I sit here like a damn hand puppet. So I'm not owning that. And if you have been trying to book with me, please be patient. I'm opening up the calendar very sporadically because I have some other obligations in my life that I need to take care of. And I don't want to overbook. And I'm realizing that if this is going to be service work, I have to also take care of myself in order to be a good hand puppet.
Well, and as fellow rats, what are we known for? Working until we completely go, into exhaustion. And
Right.
so I think one aspect of a rat being in a 9-year or a year of a snake is letting go of that need to constantly be on and open and available to everyone so we can focus on self-care. And I think
Okay.
we're demonstrating that.
We are, and this is a terrible thought to have pop into my head, is a lot of people who own, oh, if you're a very sensitive person, just put your hands over your ears and say, la, la, la. This is just cycle of life stuff. A lot of people raise feeder rats for their big snakes. So
Oh,
snakes eat rats.
I'd never connected that with the metaphorical year of the snake. Denise, is this year going to eat us alive?
No, no.
All right. We got to put a positive spin on that before we end the show, because I don't like that.
No, I do.
Okay,
I
this
really
year of the snake is going to eat our compulsion to work, 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 go, 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 and be there for everyone else.
beautiful, beautiful twist, beautiful
Sticking with
spin.
that.
Yes. And I may cut out that part about snakes eating rats because I know it would offend some people, and that's not the intention. It's just the cycle of life.
Well, you know what thought that pops into my head is that one of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes where the aliens do come and they've got a book for the president, and it's a cookbook on how to eat us.
Oh,
Do you
well,
remember that one?
I do.
To
I love the
serve
writing in the
mankind.
Twilight. I love the writing in that show.
I do too.
It's but just as an aside, it will be interesting to see if there has been a lot of talk about the alien stuff, about visitations, about things being seen, and who knows, maybe that's part of this coming year too.
Who knows?
Guess we'll find out.
We'll just have to roll with it with the best of our abilities that we can. And I think the focus is going to be on surrender, grace, and really staying deeply, deeply connected to our inner core, our spirituality, our authentic self. And I think that when we embrace this energy, we can release what no longer serves us. We can really enrich and deepen our compassion and set the stage for a brighter future if we lean into the magic that's all around us and within us, and let the wisdom of this year really and truly guide us to our highest potential.
Oh, that was so, so beautifully said. And there is a beautiful, beautiful release in completion of a cycle. And if this is a year of finishing up, of moving into the energies of transformation, what a beautiful way to go into the year.
I agree. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you have a great week. Please remember, as always, to show up, do good work, and share your light.
Take care.